This video will illustrate how to send images over from the IVC cameras to the FTP server. So first things first, you need to make sure that you actually have an FTP server that's connected to your camera. And in my case, I have downloaded a freeware called FileZilla Server Interface to simulate this exercise. Once you have the server interface open, if you're going to be using FileZilla, where you need to go is to users and make sure that you actually add a user account. In this case, I already have a user account called Parmasa. You can enable a password. I don't have one in my case. Once you have a user account, then you need to define what exactly is going to be the folder or the directory where the images are going to be stored. In my case, they are going to the C drive followed by the inspector FTP folder. And this one is going to be having access by the user's Parmasa, which is the only user I have in my case. So these are the only two settings that needs to be done if you're going to be using FileZilla, and then you can OK on that screen. So I'll go back to my IVC Studio program. I already have an image, and I can now go to the Communications tab and include or insert a step called Send to FTP. I need to define an IP address of the server. In this case, the server is my PC. So I'm going to go ahead and find out what is the IP address of my computer. And that's 10.100.9.216. So I'll go ahead and add that. The port number from the FileZilla was 21 as well, so I'll just leave that as to be the default. The username is Parmasa. And I really don't have a password. Now within the directory where the images are going to be stored, I can create a subdirectory where I want the IVC images to go in, and I could call that IVC images. And the file name, while this can be a dynamic file name, so that your images are, let's say, based on a counter 1, 2, 3, 4 or something more meaningful to you. In this case, it's going to be a static image. I'll just call it test. The source bank is the bank from which you want to send the image out to. In this case, it's bank number 0 because that's where my image is at. And I can send a raw 3D image, which is going to be quite a bigger in size and takes about half a second to a second. Or I can send a JPEG grayscale or a bitmap. I'll select a JPEG grayscale in this case. Once I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and execute that step. And there is my subdirectory in which the images are going to go, which is C drive inspector FTP. Within that, the inspector image, the IVC images directory got created, and I can double click on that, and I have one image which is test. I'll go ahead and double click on that and open it up with any of the graphics software, and there you go. That's the images that came about to be.